From 87 to 92, Dan served in the Air Force where he was a captain and was an instructor and navigator for B-52s. Prior to his work at CAE, Dan was director at Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and from the Trona County International Airport in Casper, Wyoming. And he's held leadership positions in Corning, New York, and Dubuque Regional Airport in Iowa also. He's a native of Bryan, Ohio. Graduated from Bowling Green State with a bachelor's in business administration, and is an accredited airport executive and has a private pilot certification. Dan and his wife Melissa reside in Lake Murray, Chapin. They have 2 grown children, Ryan and Melissa. You may recall Dan spoke a couple of years ago, and it's great to have him back to give us an update on how the airport's progressed over the years. So, Dan Mann.
It's a pleasure to be back. I think it's been about 4.5 years. So this was one of my very first places I came when I got here. So I didn't even know where I was going, but I made it, and a lot of changes have happened in 4 years. Probably not a lot that you guys have seen, but behind the scenes, the airport is a totally different operation today than it was 5 years ago. Before I get started, the weather today, everybody's been talking about how cold it is, and boy, you must be used to it. And I say, Jesus, 17 degrees, it's just kind of shirt sleeve weather from Iowa. And I saw the weather 2 days ago out in Wyoming, Casper, Wyoming, where I have an airport. I think they had 87 mile an hour winds and 6 inches of snow, and I think it was minus 13. So this is just great weather today. And the sun shines. One of the biggest reasons for me coming here from Cedar Rapids was, again, it was the state capital, university town. But you had the lake and the great weather, and I was so tired of snow removal, so I love this weather. So, let me get right into this. A lot's changed in the last 4 years. The industry has changed, the way we do business, the airport's changed, but the biggest challenges we had, and I knew when I came, was we had some challenges with our location. Charlotte, the 6th largest airport in the country, is an hour and a half away. We knew that a lot of our customers were driving up the road to Charlotte. But we also had a lot of industry challenges, and it wasn't just here, it was across the nation. The aviation industry was changing, and it had been changing since deregulation. Since 1979, which was deregulation, 180 airlines, think about that, 180 airlines have come and gone. Today we have 4 majors left, and so as mergers and consolidation happened, the competition got fiercer and fiercer. And so now we have 3 of the 4. We have Delta, the new American US Airways, and United Airlines. We have a few low-cost carriers left. Spirit Airlines, I think folks may have heard of Spirit. Legion Airlines, which is just up the road as well. And Frontier Airlines. So not a lot of options when it comes to growing the airline service. So we had that national level where we said, how are we going to grow our business here? What are we going to do to be competitive, keep people from having to drive up the road? The other industry challenge that we're still facing is the elimination of the 50-seat aircraft. Our market historically has been a 50-seat market, so it's an airplane that just isn't viable anymore, especially when oil was $100 a barrel. It certainly wasn't viable. Now that it's dropped, you say, okay, well, maybe the 50-seater can stick around a little bit longer, but now these aircraft are old, they're aging, their maintenance is up, and so the 50-seaters are going away. So when you look at an airport like us, you're saying, okay, we've got these mergers, we've got 4 airlines left. The 50-seaters, which is our bread and butter, is being phased out. In fact, Delta, by the end of this year, will have no more 50-seat aircraft in the market. So we had some real challenges there, saying, how do we make a case to the airlines that we should have this business back? And so we had that. The other part is internally. So we had these national challenges. Internally, we had massive amount of debt. Our airport was $82 million in debt. Our cost per passenger was much higher than industry standards. So we had to do some things internally to say, okay, to be competitive with the airlines, we definitely need to get our bottom line straight so we can go out and make a case for more air service. The thing that you're looking at is that airplane is a mobile asset. There's 400 other airports, and we're going to compete for that mobile asset against all the 400 other airports. And when your costs are high, your debt's high, you're not making a very good case to the airlines for better service, better airfares, which is what everybody cares about is, can I get to point A to point B, and can I do it at an affordable airfare? And then the third piece of this was our community support. We had about 60% of our market, 60% driving to other airports, primarily Charlotte. And really, when I came out and talked, people said, well, you know, your airfares, I don't even check anymore. And that was a real red flag for us. It's one thing for folks to chase the airfares, but when people don't even check your airfares anymore, that was something that was a big red flag to me, that we have to do more to educate the community on the service we have, how the airfares work, and then make a case to the airlines to have better airfares, so I can come out and tell stories saying, hey, we've heard you and we're making a difference. So the last piece of this is the United message to the airlines. So we have a great population base here, enough to justify more air service than we had at the time. And so our strategy had been to tell the airlines that we're a great community, we'd like to have it. Southwest Airlines in particular, when they were making the decision to go to GSP and Charleston, our case was not a business case. We were saying, hey, you need to be in Columbia because we're the state capital, and we're 2 hours drive from everywhere. Southwest said, you know, we need a business case for coming here. And so giving everything that we've looked at, I started to say, all right, the airlines will not come here unless we have a business plan where they can make money. And so we started really making a case to the airlines about the business. When I came here, before I even arrived 5 years ago, I talked to all the airlines that serve the market. And one thing they said, Dan, your costs are too high. Get your costs below $10 and we'll be in the market. And I said, I will do that. And so we quickly went to work on getting our costs in line. A couple things here that I really want to emphasize is right up here, self-sufficient. We are a self-sufficient airport. We are not on the state or local tax dollars. We are a business. We operate like a business. Yes, we're government, but we're not on property tax. We're not coming saying, hey, you know, we didn't do a very good job running our business. I need more money from you guys. It doesn't work that way. So that's something that I think everybody in this community should be very proud of, the fact that we are operating like a business and we don't have to come to you guys for tax. But that made getting our internal problems in line much more important. And so you can see here our debt was $22 million. We had, our debt was $87 million. We reduced that. We reduced it by $22 million in the last 4 years. A lot of that came from payroll. We had 120 employees. We were the second highest number of payroll of all small hub airports. So in 4 years, we were able to save $8.7 million. That's a very difficult thing to do when you have 130 people at your airport and you say, hey, we have to have better air service, we have to compete, we have to get our costs down. That means some of you will not be here, some of them aren't here. We now have 60 employees. So it was a very difficult thing to do, but something that was imperative for us to be able to grow the air service and do what we needed to do so you guys could have better air service. Cost per passenger, 2 years ago we got below $10. For our budget this year, it's in the $8 range, about $8.50. Again, a lot of that came from payroll, but the other part was contracts that we eliminated, doing things smarter. If it wasn't customer service or safety, we eliminated it. And so we've really focused on those two things, safety and customer service, to get our costs where they need to be. And I think we got a slide coming up on customer service, some of the great things we've done there. But the biggest thing was competing for the air service. And so with these cost changes that we did internally, we were able to return $4 million back to the airlines. And again, make a business case to them for better service. And Delta is the first airline we really approached, and they're the ones who said, okay, we're going to do some changes for the pricing and add capacity. The other part I kind of talked about is the airlines and the fact that they merged, the bankruptcies, 180 have gone away. That's not a very stable line of revenue. Again, given historically the changes that they have not made money. And so we said, what can we do to stabilize our revenue base? And so we bought a property management piece. Colliers represents the airport. We went out and bought a 90,000 square feet of office space in our foreign trade zone, and that's generating about $600,000 a year in additional revenue. Another thing that we've done internally is our indoor advertising. Again, we have 1 million people come through the airport. We had contracted out our indoor advertising. We were paying a 60% commission. We said, if we bring this in-house, we'll have a better relationship with the people that are advertising, which is important because of the users of the airport, and we can generate about another $100,000 in revenue. So with the help of Kayla, who's on my staff, we just brought this in-house, and January is when we started, but we've already got most of the clients signed over to us, and again, it's a revenue stream that we kind of contracted out to a company in Pennsylvania, which didn't do us any good. And then this next piece is spreading the word. So we did all these internal things, we got our cost in line, we got Delta to respond a little bit. So we had to get the word out. We met with, regularly, we meet with the 42 big time CEOs. They spend a lot of money flying, and they had concerns and issues. And in fact, one of my commissioners sits on this group now, these CEOs, and we start saying, hey, this is what we've done. What concerns do you have? And we just kind of went on a listening tour. They said, okay, first of all, Chicago service. We need help on Chicago service. Pricing. We need pricing help. We got Delta to respond. So we started giving positive feedback to the CEOs, and again, kind of a two-way listening about what's it going to take for you guys to start using our airport again rather than drive to Charlotte or Atlanta. Getting the information out, recruited local folks to spread the word for us. I think most of you have seen Ray Tanner ad, and Lou Kennedy with Nephron, she's done that for us, and then I got that here, and you guys may recognize this guy. If you could play that.
Here he comes at the 40, 30, 20, 10, touchdown! Touchdown, Marcus Lattimore.
Come on, guys, I'm just coming home.
Columbia Metropolitan Airport is a gateway to our community. When folks step off their plane, they're greeted with bright skylights, rocking chairs, and friendly people.
I'm Marcus Lattimore, and when I fly home, I check the fares at Columbia Metropolitan Airport first and fly with ease at CAE.
That commercial, that and Ray Tanner's, we got the most positive feedback for those two of anything. But again, was how do we get the word out? And when you have somebody like Ray Tanner and Lou Kennedy and Mark Lattimore, people immediately start listening. And that really is our message. Check our airfares again. We made some progress, and I really can't give those guys enough kudos for coming in and doing that. Marcus, when we first put this out, he had an agent. His agent say, well, he doesn't really do these things anymore, and somebody knew Marcus and talked to the agent, and he really said, hey, this is for my community. I'm going to do it. Marcus is just a great guy, first class person. We're glad to have him back. So we wanted to get the word out that we've made progress. The other part is, again, I'm going to get to the air service piece out of here in a little bit, but the other part is the customer experience. We need to make sure that we have the best customer experience possible. If people are willing to pay the airfares, fly out of our market, they need to be treated like we value what they do. And so we brought in a whole bunch of different things. The therapy dogs, local artists displaying their art. This next piece, the cookies and the tailgating and more. So if somebody's got a delay, if you go to Charlotte and you get a delay, you're just in one of hundreds of thousands of people that day. If you have a delay here, we want to come out and say, hey, we understand you've got a delay. We try to make the experience as good as possible. We do fun things for the customers. We hand out cookies. A lot of times we'll approach with cookies and people say, oh no, they're going to try to sell us something. It's like, no, we just want to hand you out warm cookies that are made here in our restaurant. And people say, man, I really appreciate that experience. When you get off the airplane, a lot of times we'll meet people at the airplane just saying, hey, thanks for flying out of our airport. This tailgate, Texas A&M, now our Gamecocks didn't show up for that football game, but we had great feedback for our terminal tailgate party we did. One of the sports writers from Texas A&M could not believe it. He actually blogged about it after the game saying, hey, I can't believe I got off the airport, there was a tailgate, they had all these fun things going, and it was just nice that we're going the extra mile and people are recognizing it. And for the Texas A&M folks, we didn't harass them when they came through. We said, hey, we're glad to have you guys too. Hope you get beat. And they were gracious when they flew out to Penn State and said but it's fun. Those are the fun customer service things that we want to do so the people that are using our airport know that we value them coming and going. The other part is, when you talk to a customer, you are getting good feedback. If they had a delay, they'll tell you they had to wait 45 minutes for the bag. We hear about it. And that kind of information is what we have to go back to the airlines to make improvements. So it's not just handing out cookies and feel good. It's getting feedback that we can use to make the experience better in the long run. Some other things, convenience and amenities, the USO, and the next video is going to be a USO. 20% of our market is military. We value the military. I was in the military. You were talking about mining when you were in the military. Most people don't know. B-52s did some mining as well. We were dropping mines in harbors, but it was an interesting bit of mining. But the military traffic is a big deal to us, and the USO, I think we got the best USO in the country. The folks that work there are fabulous. They're volunteers, treat all our guests first class, and it's just a great thing to have. And so, again, we wouldn't have the service we have today without the military traffic, and so we do everything we can to support them. We have free Wi-Fi, TSA pre-check. This is where if you pay $85, go through their background, you can go to another line and leave your shoes on, you leave your jacket on, leave your liquids, we suck a lot of liquids, but you leave your shoes on and it's an expedited line so you can go to the front. That's something, if you travel a lot, is worth checking out. Valet parking. Another thing that I always hear about is the off-airport parking. If you look at this piece here, our parking is expensive. I hear about it all the time. We've got a massive amount of debt that we have to build that garage. But we do have off-airport parking, and it's $5 a day. It has a shuttle. And so those folks that are price sensitive on parking, keep this in mind that there is an opportunity to have the off-airport parking if you're really concerned about that bit of it. It's not something that was always out there, but in the last 2 years, this has been added. And so it kind of counteracts what I hear about the price of parking up in Charlotte. We have a free business center. If you have a smartphone, you can use that board. Also very convenient. We're about 8% now. It started out very slow, but it's catching on. A lot of my daughter's smartphones for a boarding pass, so it's starting to catch on for the flyers. Free books through the county library. But going back to the military piece of it, one of the things we've done with the University of South Carolina is military appreciation. Every home game, we get videotapes that come in, and we show that on the Jumbotron, and it's a military member saying, hey, mom, dad, family, thanks, I appreciate it, and we get the family out on the game field, and they get to watch the video. They get to come to a game where normally they wouldn't get to come to, but we've been lucky that for 3 years in a row now, we've actually been able to surprise the family by bringing them home, and we got this video clip. This was a great thing to do. It was the first year we did it. Nobody was expecting it. It was the game where we beat Georgia, so everybody was really pumped up anyway, but you may remember seeing this video. So so that video, that was the first year we did it, and the crowd was crazy anyway. When he came on that Jumbotron and said, I hope we beat Georgia, and they just exploded. But it was just the fact that we as the airport can support our military, and really 3 years in a row be able to bring these families home is phenomenal. Again, it's something we do extra. But this one was really big too, because when the daughter first saw her dad, she took off running, and mom grabbed her by the back of the shirt and said, "No, you're not going to do it." It was so fun, and we're glad we can do it. We hope we're going to do the military appreciation for the football games next year. We don't know if we're going to be able to do a surprise family. There's less appointments now, but we certainly hope we can. But again, it's one of those things that we're doing to try to let we're part of the community. We want to be part of the community, and we're excited to do things like that. Next slide, capital improvements. Again, self-sufficient. We're bringing literally millions of dollars into the community. $7.4 million more than we have in the past from the FAA. This is user fees that people pay when they use the aviation system. So again, not tax dollars, but user fees as part of the airport. Great relationship with the FAA. We talk to them not daily, but at least weekly, saying, hey, this is what we need at our airport. How can we work together to prioritize our funding? Great relationship with the FAA. $37 million we spent 2010 to 2014. Runway lights, second airport in the country to have LED lights on our runway. Also saves a ton of money, maintenance free, saves money. New taxiways, 2015 to 2018, another $23 million. One of the big things we're doing is a new ARF station, which is going to be it's going to be very environmentally friendly, very efficient. We're putting new lighting in the terminal, new HVAC. Well, the thing that's interesting about the LED lights in the terminal that we're going to do, it's going to be great fixtures, but the lighting, our light bill, just in the terminal, our light bill is about $240,000. Just changing our light fixtures to LED is going to save about $200,000 a year. So it's little things that will save a ton of money. You won't hear the ballast buzzing. It's just little things like that where you're saying, hey, we got to take care of our business, the small things in our business, so we can then continue to make the case to the airlines for better service. We're going to have inline baggage system hopefully in the next 3 years. Concessions in our food beverage service is going to get upgraded. Our gift shop is going to be upgraded. So a lot of great things happening. Rental cars are our second largest source of income next to parking. Everybody thinks, well, where do you get your money? The airlines are a big part of that, but it's rental cars are number one, parking is number two. So with all those folks using the rental cars, we wanted to give them a better experience. Again, when we were listening to folks, they said, you know what, if we could be in a parking garage, easy in, easy out, and the rental cars kept saying that. So probably in the next 6 months, all the rental cars will be moving into the parking garage, which will be a much better experience for them. But really, the biggest thing that everybody wants to hear about is air service and what we're trying to do for air service. Again, everything I've said is laying the foundation for better air service, making the case to the airlines about why they should be in our market. This is our route map. We have nine destinations we fly to. Again, this is part of the public perception was it's Atlanta or Charlotte, but we really do have service to 9 nonstops. Very good service for a community our size, but not good enough. We want it to be better. Again, we have a lot of people that are driving up the road to Charlotte, and so we need to be better to keep people in our community. So we've got the three of the 4 major airlines. We don't have Southwest, but we do have US Airways American, and we've talked to them. I think I've talked to them more in the last 5 months than I've talked to American in my entire career. They're merging. They are trying to do it right, the way Delta and Northwest merger worked. United Continental, on the other hand, that was a terrible merger. They're still struggling. But US Air and American, they will be 38% of our market share. They will almost rival Delta in our market. And so we have to get up with that very fast about get rid of those 50-seaters to Dallas, give us 70-seaters, give us 90-seaters, give us first-class cabin service, more capacity, better airfares. And they've talked to us initially saying, okay, Dan, we got to get through some pilot things, but we are going to give you more service to Dallas. I guess about a month ago, I went back to them and talked to them. They said, you know what, we think, we see what United is doing in your market in Chicago. Chicago is the #1 city. I mean, if you don't have good service to Chicago, you're not going to do right by your business traveler. And so United has not given us the service that we all should have. And American recognizes that. And they said, Dan, we think Chicago might be our next nonstop destination for you guys. and it will be with better aircraft. And so, again, we are very optimistic that we're going to see some competition in Chicago. And again, the way this works, if you get 50-seater, all of them, you get low fares, but in a 50-seat aircraft, you may only have 2, so those things are gone. So most folks don't ever have a chance to buy them. You get a 70-seater, you're going to have more discount fares available. You get a 90-seater, you're going to have more. If you have competition, if United has to go head-to-head against American, they're going to add seats, they're going to lower their prices. And so we actually think we're going to see some capacity growth, primarily from Chicago, with the Dallas upgrade. And also they're saying, we think we can do some New York City stuff too. And so this American merger, again, there's a lot that could change, but things look really promising for us and our community right now. And again, we've made the case on getting our costs in line, we're much more competitive, and so we've done everything we can to make the case, a business case to American Airlines. Not that we're good people and we ought to be here, but you can make money, you can make more money here than you can make in the other airports where you can fly that aircraft. Delta, I can't say enough good things about Delta. Delta is 41% of our market. When we got our cost below $10, they were the first airline I went to. They were the only airline that changed their pricing strategy, which is why we've had 3 years of growth now. They came in and said, Dan, we get it. We don't want to lose market share to Southwest. We don't want people leaving your market, driving to Greenville, and not getting on a Delta aircraft. So we're going to change our pricing strategy. And those folks that check your airfares, they'll see that you have competitive airfares. And the other part is, we know we're going to have to add capacity, and Delta has done all of that, and they've done it for 3 years now. So Delta, first to respond. American and US Airways are responding a little bit. I think once they get through this merger, you're going to see some good things from them too. I mentioned 3 years of growth. We just got our numbers today, just before I came here. We were up 2% for the year. This is the 3rd year of growth. It's only happened 3 other times since 1979. So for us to string 3 positive years, it just hasn't happened in our market. So we're very, very proud of that. We've only had 4 positive years, 1 other time since deregulation. So I'm already working on 2015 to see if we can have another positive year. And I'm very excited. Again, I see what's happening with the merger. Oil being $48 a barrel is going to help us with that growth as well. But if we get more capacity, we're going to have the fares, and we won't have people driving up the road because of pricing and capacity issues again. So pretty optimistic about 2015. Again, I give Delta most of the credit for that. United, they've reduced the Chicago capacity by 50% since 2005. Their reliability is not where it needs to be. This is not just in our market, this is everywhere. United is really, really struggling. They're trying to make some good decisions. De-hubbing Cleveland is helping, but United has got some real system challenges. And again, they're 21% of our market. I wish them well. I talk to them all the time about their customer service issues. Again, you talk price when everything else is good, but price, when you're business traveling, when you're traveling, what's more important than price is when you buy that ticket, you're buying that ticket to get from point A to point B, and when you can't do that, you've got a real problem. And so we're talking to United saying, listen, I don't want to talk about capacity or price, I don't want to talk about reliability. We have to have reliable service over Chicago. We have to have reliable service with Dulles. Dulles is a major international connection point for us, and so that really is our point we're trying to make with United. And you know, they're hearing us. I'm not sure they're going to be able to do much about it until they really solve their merger issues. But again, we're working hard with them. We've made a business case for better service, and so I think we're on the right track with all the airlines. We have a few things we're working on for the low-cost carriers. We have a small airline in Florida. We don't have any nonstop service in Florida. We're working on that. We may hear something this spring once the Florida service connections through Orlando. It'd be exciting if it happens to be a small aircraft, but again, having that nonstop would be great. So that's all I have for my canned remarks. I'd love to take some questions. Yes, ma'am.
Why don't we swap out United for Southwest?
Well, believe me, I would have traded United for Southwest 4 years ago. I've been here, I'm coming, February 1st will be my 5th year. I've been in the market, I've been here 4 days, literally 4 days when Southwest said, we're not coming to Columbia. I'll tell you what, I didn't have my bags here yet, so it was a real kick in the gut, thinking, oh my gosh, we have all these financial challenges internally, our costs are high, our payroll is high, our debt is high, and now Southwest is going to come in and really knock us one down. The good news is, I did a leakage study. How many people were leaving our market? And we actually have fewer people leaving our market today than we had when Southwest came to the market in GSP and Charleston, primarily because Delta added better capacity. One of the things that you have to keep in mind is it's not a low-cost carrier as much as it is low cost. And so if you can get low cost from a Delta or American, that is more important than the Southwest low cost because of the connectivity, the international connectivity, and the strength of the market. But believe me, I fought like crazy for Southwest, and I still try to make a business case for Southwest Airlines. And I would trade United for Southwest if that was in the cards. But I'll tell you what, we're talking right now, when it's capacity, nonstop, I hear from American, hey, would you trade a Charlotte flight for a New York City flight? Absolutely, I would trade that. I would trade capacity in Charlotte for more capacity in Dallas. Our business travelers love connecting over Dallas. If we had a 70-seater or a 90-seater with the right cabin class and that Dallas service is going to be really, really big for us. So we're talking all the time about that. But I think Southwest is probably not coming here anytime soon. They're kind of struggling up in GSP. They've got their hands full right now in their other markets. Yes, ma'am.
How much is it like a give or take in a horse trade, or how much would you say? And I'll use the United example, or pick on United. I had to go to Chicago next Thursday afternoon, and I did check the airfares here first, because I was hoping I would do the entire broker meeting and then still be able to get to Chicago. Well, guess what? I'm driving to Charlotte. I gotta leave early. How much could you do something where if Delta is willing to fly to Chicago, do you have the power to tell United you don't want Chicago flights anymore, or are you really at their mercy?
Yeah, there's a lot of rules and regulations that come with what we can do for the airlines. They set the schedule, they set the price. Our role is to browbeat them and go out to the community and say, fly. If American, I'll tell you what, if American starts that Chicago service, you guys are going to see me all the time because I'm going to be talking about fly American, fly American, fly American. Because
that's what I'm flying out of Charlotte to Chicago, American.
Yeah, and we're telling you guys that even the East Coast. I mean, if they lose these small hub airports on the East Coast, their system is not going to be the system they need it to be for the business travelers everywhere else in the country. So, again, we've made the business case to United. They're just not in a position to be able to take advantage of it right now due to their system problems. But we get to American service. We need people to fly on that American service because I'm saying if you bring it, we'll get on it. And so we'll really need the people's, all of us, to fly that American product as much as possible. Americans got a responsibility though. I can come out and tell you, if they don't price it right, they have bad reliability, they're not going to get our customers, and nor should they.
Yes, so I make a comment. Every time I've gone to Charlotte flying, I've always regretted it on that long drive back home when I'm nodding. I'm so tired. I've had a long trip, and I about fall asleep while I drive, and I love the parking. I don't care how much money it is at Columbia Airport. I love just parking right there, walking right across. Oh my gosh, I love it. In the Valley parking, my husband uses it, and they bring it back. They go clean his car and do details, and they bring it back detailed. It's awesome.
We are really trying. We want our customers. So we were losing customers to Charlotte, and we kind of just let them go. And our take right now, my task really for the last 5 years is we have this group of customers. If we can't do anything, get any more on back, let's make sure the customers we have love using our airport. The parking, the valet parking, the convenience, all the amenities, we have to have that. And so that's really our focus is. Obviously, we want better air service, and we're working on that. But the things we can't control, I can't control United's pricing or the reliability, but I can control the heating and the air conditioning and the terminal and the lighting and the concessions and all those things that make it nice. I guess I have one more question. Yes, ma'am.
And I just want to say kudos to what you've done. You really have made a difference. Years ago, there was a daily direct to Pittsburgh, and I know there have been lots of changes with U.S. Air. Is direct to Pittsburgh anywhere on the radar?
Well, it wasn't until Pittsburgh got a new airport director. They have a person that's coming in and wants. Pittsburgh was dehubbed by US Airways, and it decimated their market. They had to close down different wings of the airport. Financially, the airport was in tough shape. They just within the last 2 months got an airport director, and her mission, they hired her to get air service. And so she wants more nonstops, more international. I mean, her entire mission in life is to get Pittsburgh not to where it was, but to have more nonstop service. And so without the support from that community, we didn't have a shot. And now that we have new leadership there, we actually can start a dialogue, which we didn't have before. So is it on the near-term horizon? I would say probably not. But again, it's part of the conversation now, where even 2 months ago, it wasn't even part of the conversation. Thank you.